What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads Live, presented by DodgerBlue.com. This is your home for the 2020 World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers, and you might be wondering, why do we have a live show at 6 p.m. West Coast time on a Saturday? Well, Dodger fans, it's because the good news that you've been waiting for has arrived. Justin Turner is back with the Dodgers. He broke the news himself on Twitter, announcing that he was coming back. Jeff Passan followed it up a few minutes later, announcing that Turner's deal with the Dodgers is for 2 years and more than $30 million, according to sources. So unbelievable news for the Dodgers. Again, Justin Turner re-signing. This was the last sort of missing piece, I would say. They add Trevor Bauer, and immediately the question is, well, what does this mean for Turner? Can the Dodgers still go get him? Who's going to play third? Etc., etc., etc. Well, guess what? Answers are everywhere. They're right in front of you. Justin Turner is back with the Dodgers. This is a guy that many believe to be sort of the heart and soul of that clubhouse. And I think you add a guy like Bauer, you add somebody who maybe is controversial, even if some of the stuff lately has been positive as far as what teammates have said. But knowing that Turner, the respected leader of that clubhouse, is back in there, I think is good news. And let's not forget, Justin Turner is really, really good at baseball still. Now, one thing I want to throw out, this is from Pedro Mora's article from The Athletic, because I found this fascinating. He said that PECOTA, P-E-C-O-T-A, is sort of a projection system that projects how many wins a particular team is going to get. So in 2020, the Dodgers had the best preseason projection in 18 years of existence that it had ever had, 102.5 wins. Obviously, they didn't play 162, but they were projected to be the best team essentially since that metric had come out. Well, this year, the Dodgers were projected at 102.9 wins. So 0.4 wins ahead of last year. And oh, by the way, that was before Justin Turner re-signed. So that 102.9 will probably go over 103. The first time in history, 18 years since that statistic existed, that the Dodgers will be the first team to ever go above 103. And that's because of Turner. Turner is a really good player. He fills a need. Obviously, Edwin Rios is capable, but he'll move to more of a reserve role. This leaves some questions about second base and whatnot, but Justin Turner is the third baseman for the Dodgers. And let's not forget who we're talking about with Justin Turner. We know this is a guy who's getting up there in age. He's 36 years old, but when you look at his numbers last year, the StatCast stuff is really good for Turner. Exit velocity, top 25% of the league. Hard hit percentage, top 25% of the league. Expected on-base average, batting average, and slugging percentage, all in the top 7% of the league. Top 25% in barrels, top 25% in whiff percentage, top 15% in strikeout percentage. This was a guy that everywhere you looked were elite numbers. Now, when you look at the raw numbers, you might say, well, what are we actually doing here? This is a guy who's getting old. He did have just 4 home runs last season in 42 games, so you sort of extrapolate that out. He's not going to play 162 games. So we're talking about 15 home run pace last year for Turner. This is coming off the year before when he had 27 home runs. So obviously we know that there's more in there for a guy like Turner. But, again, you look at the postseason, and I think things were pretty positive. He had 4 home runs in the regular season last year. He had 3 home runs in the postseason. Now his average batting and on-base percentage was down, but he ends up with 7 home runs in 60 games. You do 2.5 of that. He gets closer to 20 home runs, which is what I think you're going to get. At the end of the day, the Dodgers are adding a guy who is a professional hitter, who's going to give them good at-bats, who has come through in clutch moments. They lose a guy like Jock Peterson, Kike Hernandez, some of the biggest hits the Dodgers have had. And even if Turner is aging, you can count on him at the end of the day. And plus, let's be honest, the pressure on Turner is going to be less and less this year and next year. Again, a 2-year deal, $30+ million, according to Jeff Passan. No details. I see Paul Rubio in the chat as we do this live asking about if there are incentives, if there is a team option, if there is a player option. We don't know details of that. We'll see how that pans out. But, I mean, the Dodgers are way over the luxury tax, so that doesn't really make a big difference. It's likely they'll lose 10 spots in the draft order unless they can make a trade. I know some people just assume, well, David Price is going to be gone, but I don't know. I think the Dodgers have hinted at longer season that maybe wanting to have 7 starters they can rely on. But back to Turner. Again, this is a guy who's getting up there in age, 36 years old, as I pointed out. The fastball ability to hit the fastball has started to decline. The defense is still really good, probably not elite Gold Glove type defense as we've seen in the past, but Justin Turner is back with the Dodgers. And again, that is great news for Dodger fans everywhere. A 2-year deal worth more than $30 million, again, according to Jeff Passan. And the best part is that Turner himself is the one who announced it. So awesome stuff there. I can see the excitement in the chat. People predicting championships. I think the Dodgers were the best team in baseball before this move. They add this move to their arsenal, and it just gets better from there. So we appreciate you joining us on this quick live show. Definitely make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Ring the notification bell. Daniel and I will be back on Monday night to talk about Bauer, to talk about Turner, to talk about spring training. I mean, we are less than a week away from pitchers and catchers reporting, so unbelievable timing for the Dodgers. Great news, as reports had started to hint that maybe the Brewers were involved. But the Dodgers do lock up Justin Turner. He will be a Dodger, presumably for the rest of his career, which is great news for the Dodgers. If you haven't already, we had an interview with Eno Sarris of The Athletic earlier this week. Please go check that out. I asked him if he thinks Trevor Bauer is one of the top 10 pitchers in baseball. His answer might surprise you a little bit. Whether or not the Dodgers rotation is one of the best in the last 10 to 15 to 20 years, he actually said yes. So there's some good stuff in that one as well. So stay tuned there. But we appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We'll see you at Monday, live stream, 8 p.m. And as always, before we go, here is Vin Scully telling us the truth about the 2020 World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers.
The best team holding a trophy high in the air. The Los Angeles Dodgers, champions of the baseball world.